The most mysterious yet pivotal stories regarding Friedrich Nietzsche, or the most pivotal story regarding him, was when he witnessed a man flogging a horse in the streets of Turin. For Nietzsche, this aroused in him a great sense of compassion, empathy, and sadness for the injustice of pain and willpower being inflicted upon the innocent animal. Nietzsche's entire philosophical worldview, identity and belief system was put upside down in this very moment whereby Nietzsche had to come to terms with facing brutal contradiction against his own soul. It is claimed that this event was the moment that tipped Nietzsche over the edge into madness and existential psychosis, leading to his death. Nietzsche was always under a philosophical battle within his own mind between the dualities of life, good and bad, the morality and all of this type of stuff, in finding and embracing the truth fundamentally as his mission, in crafting the values for the way of his ideal image within his philosophy of the Übermensch, or superior man. But when Nietzsche saw the beating of this horse, the flogging of this horse by its owner, he was overcome with empathy and compassion for the horse. He ran up to the horse and tried to comfort it against the brutal lashings of its owner. Now, why would this have sent him mad? This was a philosopher who burdened himself with the deathly, near impossible, or maybe impossible task of trans-evaluating all values by himself in the West to create a new morality to replace the death of God, in which he proposed and said in his writings, as he claimed. He believed that the meaning of all life was the will to power. He was a Darwinist fundamentally, believed that morality was slavery or mastery, and that what is good is that which maintains its will to power over all things, including itself. It is a sign of vitality, according to Nietzsche, which is ultimately good. In his terminology, what made his psychosis crack open was when he felt and acted in accordance with what his own philosophy deemed as inferior and slave-like. This split his mind into two. He was overcome with great remorse, compassion, empathy, and sadness towards man's expression of his will to power over an innocent animal, to the point of trying to even himself comfort and console the animal by embracing it with love. Symbolically, I see it as this: the horse of Turin for Nietzsche, in this situation he was in, could very much have been a symbol of Christ and his crucifixion in Nietzsche's mind. And that Nietzsche was not to reject the message of Christ anymore when seeing the truth of Christianity in the flesh in front of his own very eyes, being enacted upon him. For we have to understand that this entire occurrence was him acting in opposition to his philosophical intellectual rationalizations. Christianity, of course, was the opposite of his philosophical worldview, and therefore this event in his life could have very much been him disintegrating under the pressure of the Christian message that he always constantly rejected, and finally accepting it as the truth through the display of his actions. As if Nietzsche received an epiphany, a synchronicity or a message from God in this very moment of this event that happened with him. That being the devil's philosophical advocate is to be ignorant of the pertinent message of Christ in all realms of reality. Embracing Christ and giving in to the supremacy of compassion over all things when the innocent are unjustifiably beaten down, the realization of an objective moral truth and feeling from within, possibly for him, in this moment. For within Nietzsche's philosophy, he would believe that the master's dominion or domination is righteous and good, as for him it is an expression of a greater, more vital form of life succeeding over the weaker forms of life. Vitality or good health, as he might have called it, but deep within his heart, in this moment he did not feel this to be true at all. When he saw this display of power over this horse, over an innocent animal being beaten, that he listened to his feelings and found another answer which he was always fighting against to begin with. That in this instance, Nietzsche paradoxically, as the man he was, embraced the Christian message which in his philosophy he had hated so much. That the will to power should not always supersede all things in this life, through humanity, and that it is not the highest moral good to impose it onto the world over others in all circumstances. For Nietzsche accepted Christ through the display of his actions of compassionate embrace towards the beating of the innocent Turin horse. It would make sense for this to finally send him into madness. That what he believed he stood for was broken and his identity thrusted into the abyss of confusion. The mental contradiction of his actions and feelings being the opposite of his deeply held philosophical ideology could have been the straw that broke the camel's back for him. That his actions spoke louder than his words, and that his grand philosophical narrative being built up within his own mind became at this point, maybe in self-reflection for him, a self-inflicted intellectual contradiction of cope that burst open the floodgates of psychosis when experiencing this feeling and embracing this feeling for his actions in this moment, which broke him into psychosis, whereby his mental break was an outcome of his own unmet emotional needs in his life, possibly. Now, a lot of biographers have said that the flogging of the horse was not the cause for his breakdown. They believe the cause was due to him having syphilis or something, but there's loads of anecdotes and loads of research about how the syphilis that he had would not have caused this psychosis that he had. They believe the cause was due to him having syphilis, but the fact that this incident coincided as a catalyst for his breakdown describes the symbolic and contradictory split that Nietzsche was battling with his entire life, on a very deep philosophical level in which he cared a lot about, which at the end of the day was the complete summation of his entire life. To me, I see this as being the main cause for his mental breakdown. His internal fight between Christianity and his own attempt for building a moral code for his ideal of the Übermensch. For his last documented words of Nietzsche were, "Mother, I am done." As if he realized in that moment of psychosis that all of his work was a failed attempt at finding the truth that was already staring at him in the face all along. So tell me what you guys think of this. I made a post about this on Instagram that gained a decent amount of attention because I thought it's a very interesting kind of situation that he went through, and not many people believe either this happened, or if it did happen, why did he kind of act like this in relation to this type of stuff? And I think this is possibly the conclusion to why this happened. Because in this moment of psychosis, in this split, it's him accepting Christianity, and that is such a contradiction to his philosophy that it causes him to go into madness. That's how I see it, because the horse is symbolic of the Christian message, I think, or symbolic of at least Christ in some sense. So tell me what you guys think of this in the comments down below. It's very interesting. Obviously, I'm not saying this is what happened objectively, but I don't know. But this is my interpretation of it. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like. And of course, if you're interested in any form of coaching, spiritual mentorship, mindset mentorship, as I do with a lot of my clients, make sure to book in a free consultation call with me down below if you are struggling with anything like that with regards to mindsets, procrastination, wanting to get things done more efficiently, being productive, all of that stuff. If you feel that that is a struggle with you on a personal level, make sure to contact me about this and we can have a one-on-one free call that costs nothing, and we can talk about this and how we can build a coaching system together to tackle those issues that you have. And all links to that will be in the description below. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like, share it around, and I'll speak to you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.